A new Fox News poll out with less than 2 weeks to go until Election Day. The poll shows this. Voters trust, it shows who voters trust to do a better job on foreign policy, immigration, terrorism, and the economy. Trump is leading only in the economy column by 4%. Joining us right now is National Review editor Rich Lowry and the Washington Times columnist Charles Hurt. Good to see you both. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen. Charles, let me kick it up with you. What do you make of these numbers?
Moving, last week Donald Trump was down by 6 in this poll. This latest one shows him down by 3. It shows some considerable movement there in a positive direction for Donald Trump. But if you look at all the polls, it's pretty scattered, and I think that it's probably you have a lot of people declaring the race right now for Hillary Clinton, saying it's all over. I think it's far too early at this point. I think that the electorate is hard to read right now, and I think that it's not over, and there's a real chance that Donald Trump could still pull it out.
Rich, what do you think?
Well, this is the best polling news for Donald Trump in a very long time. The first time a serious media organization has a poll that shows it this close. And there is tightening across the board. Even other polls, there's an ABC tracking poll that's been kind of off the charts for Hillary, showing a 12-point lead. Even that is tightening up. So clearly some tightening is going on. But 12 days from an election, you much prefer to be 3 points up rather than 3 points down. And on the economy, if there's one issue you're going to be ahead on, that's the one you want, because that's the issue that people care most about. But in general, issues aren't the decisive factor here, I think. It's temperament and character. Still, in this Fox poll, even though it's pretty close, on all those metrics, Trump is very far behind Hillary Clinton. And it's just very hard to be elected president when more than 50% of people think you're not prepared or ready or qualified to be president.
You think that's more important than economy, even though the economy seems to be the #1 issue for voters?
I do. I think if Trump, that's the nut he's always had to crack in the general election, is temperament and character. And I think, this is a little bit of a joke, but when he won the nomination in May, if he had just gone away and not said anything, he'd be winning this race right now.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, it's funny you bring up temperament and character, because she's had a tough problem with that, especially with the recent dumps on the Podesta emails about her character, especially when it comes to Morocco. How about the Saudis, Qatar? I mean, these are not friends of ours. They're human rights violators, so that goes to her character. And then also think about when she testified on Benghazi and going, what difference does it make? So we've seen this come out from her, and the economy is a big sticking point. You can see it's resonating through the polls. So do you think that could hurt her?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, absent Donald Trump, she's the most unpopular person ever to run for president. And really the difference in this Fox poll and all the polls is he's just slightly more unpopular. Now, the latest WikiLeaks stuff on the foundation, I think, is the first time it really could punch through in a big way. Because a lot of these emails, they've been embarrassing for the underlings, but they're all people no one's heard of.
Right.
This really goes to how corrupt the whole foundation setup was. And it's on the front page of almost every major newspaper today.
Even I held this up. It's on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, the New York Post, and the New York Times. It's above the fold. It's the latest
Yeah, and that's
story.
the spot right there that's been voted in the New York Times for 2 months to nothing except for anti-Trump stories.
And it was found that 2 Chief Clinton Foundation fundraisers pressed donors to steer business opportunities to former President Bill Clinton. There was a 2011 November memo outlining how work sometimes translated to large speaking fees for Bill Clinton, other paid work for Mr. Clinton. Charlie, your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've never seen a smoking gun that is smoking this much, out of that particular email, where Chelsea Clinton had Doug Band write up exactly what, basically defending his purpose at the foundation, his purpose at and Teneo's ties to it, and all the involvement with former President Bill Clinton. I mean, it is extraordinary how, in black and white, how he laid it out exactly, the entire corrupt situation. And also, when we go through these emails, usually it's prosecutors who have to come up with words like pay to play and favors and stuff like that. But these are actually the words that are in the emails that they wrote. And I do think that it is absolutely devastating. Somebody very early on pointed out that that this, if the race winds up being about Hillary Clinton, then Donald Trump wins, and if it winds up being about Donald Trump, then Hillary Clinton wins. And we have seen for months now, or for a month or so, that the race has been about Donald Trump, and that has helped Hillary Clinton a lot. And when these stories like this make it about Hillary Clinton, and that favors Donald Trump, obviously.
Yeah, but the email stuff just isn't as sexy as the tapes of sensational with Trump, and now it's so close to the election. I mean, how much of a difference do you really think it's going to make, no matter what?
Well, it has made a difference, because it seems like at least the tape and that issue for Donald Trump has faded somewhat based on these polls, at least based on this Fox News poll.
People have already voted.
You see a narrowing. Listen, she's got 83% of the Democratic vote. He's got 81, and it's something that I've highlighted when it was in the 70s. He needed to get it up.
81% of the Republicans.
Trump has 81% of the Republican vote in this new Fox News poll, and that's only 2 percentage points below where Hillary Clinton is with Democrats.
Okay.
So to his credit, he's picked up some Republican votes there. He needs to get more. He needs to get those 5 million white voters out there who didn't come out for Mitt Romney.
After the month he's had, to be still standing is amazing, but to be competitive still is absolutely extraordinary.
Shows you how disliked she is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Charles, what do you watch next now in these next 12 days? What's most important?
Honestly, I hate to say this, but I mean, does Donald Trump stay on message? Does he stay, focus on the campaign, focus on prosecuting?
Can he not get in his own way?
Exactly.
Say something else insane.
And if 12 days would about be the record for him, we've seen him do it for maybe 6 days, 7 days. And so if he could just do this for 12 days, I really do think that he's got a shot at it. And when you pick up the newspapers, and you see all these stories about how, the race is over. I saw a story in the Washington Post the other day where chiding him for even campaigning in Virginia. When people read stories like that and they hear things like that, they think, wow, maybe it really is rigged. And that plays into his favor. The thing that goes against him right now is the fact that the early voting, obviously a lot of that early voting was going on at a time when he was not just down by 3 points. And he has to overcome that, and that's going to be a problem for him. But I still think that it is a doable task for him.
Someone who's close to him should change the password on his Twitter account somehow and not let him in.
By the way, when people say Trump should stop campaigning in Virginia, all those folks from Southside, Virginia, where Charlie and I are from, are giving them a one-finger salute. Right?
Indeed. Indeed.
Rich, final word. What are you looking at next 12 days?
Well, I mean, all that's correct. He should just have Kellyanne Conway write a speech and just give it every single day, three times a day.
That's all you watch.
That's not that hard to do. And then maybe he can close strong. He's still an underdog. It's a long shot. But Charlie's right. It's not over.
All right, we'll leave it there. Rich Lowry, Charles Hurt, thank you so much, gentlemen. Good to see you both.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.